I have been one of Kyrie Irving's biggest critics in my commentary career, but this is something that could legitimately ruin one of the young stars in the NBA before he even gets to his prime. And yes, I know what you guys are going to say. Yo, Mike, Kyrie Irving has already had some great seasons. Bro, he is entering his prime. Could you think about that? He's only 27 years old. Kyrie Irving is entering his prime, and the Brooklyn Nets are on the cusp of ruining it. Now, I have been one of Kyrie Irving's biggest critics. You know, I think he's a very well-spoken guy. I actually really appreciate the fact that he goes out of his way to open up to his fans about his life, about what makes him sad, about his grandfather's passing this past summer. But at the same time, I think he needs to also take a step back to really appreciate how great of a career he's had. He's played with the greatest player of this past generation in LeBron James. He's won a championship with him by coming back 3-1 against the greatest regular season winning team in NBA history. Honestly, I think we could all agree that Cleveland Cavaliers championship has been LeBron James's most iconic championship, and Kyrie Irving had a signature moment in it. Then he gets traded to the Boston Celtics. He has a unique opportunity to be the face of one of the most storied franchises in NBA history, but it didn't work out. And we've made videos on this on the past. Some of us say he can't be a leader. Some of us say that, he's not headstrong enough to be a leader. Some people say that he just didn't get along with his teammates, or he didn't like the culture in Boston. Some people say, hey, Kyrie Irving just needed to be near family after the passing of a close family member. But that's not what this video is about, guys. This video is about how the Nets could potentially ruin Kyrie Irving's entire career and just squander his prime, which would be a shame considering the fact that I'm sure many of us have had our jaws drop as a result of Kyrie Irving, and I do not want to see us potentially miss out on Kyrie Irving's 27 age season and up. Now, before we get started, guys, I started an NFL channel. It's called Microphone. As soon as we get to 20,000 subscribers there, I'm going to be doing daily uploads there as well. If you're new to my channel, you watch a lot of my content, you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to subscribe, guys. As soon as I hit 500,000 subscribers, I will be going full-time on YouTube, or as soon as I hit 100,000 subscribers to turn on my notifications, I will go full-time on YouTube. And if you have my notifications on, drop a noti, gang, so I can show you some love, man. Guys, a lot of my content has been getting claimed. As a result of that, I can't show as many Kyrie Irving highlights in today's video. So in the event something happens to my channel, the copyright claims turn to copyright strikes, I'm going to be uploading my content to Instagram TV, so make sure you're following me on Instagram just in case something happens to the channel. My Instagram handle is @Theflightmike, which is the same as my YouTube channel, the same as my new TikTok. I just made a TikTok, by the way. It's my first one. Go ahead and tell me how I did. It's @Theflightmike on TikTok. I really want to get your feedback on that, and also the same as my Twitter. Now, guys, here's the thing, and I understand if you think, okay, Mike just is over-exaggerating, he's going crazy, this is just some really overhyped up title, there's no way that the Brooklyn Nets could ruin Kyrie Irving's career. How could this even happen? Now, I'll tell you how. First of all, we got to understand where Kyrie Irving currently is and where the Brooklyn Nets currently are and what the Brooklyn Nets are currently fighting for. And that's the most important thing we need to talk about, man. The Brooklyn Nets are currently 8th place in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Now, I understand you guys are thinking, oh, that's pretty good, Mike. This is 8th place. Dude, they're 17-20. I said something really dumb about 2 months ago, if you go and dig up my old tweets. And it was the fact that I thought the East had finally caught up to the West. And you can make that argument because in the Western Conference, the Grizzlies are currently the 8th seed with only 17 wins and 22 losses. But the East has 2 teams that have losing records that are currently in the playoff race. So that's not really good. But the Nets are in the 8th place position. They have 17 wins to 20 losses. And no matter what happens, Kevin Durant is not going to come back this season. There's no way. It's not like a scenario where, hey, if we make it to the NBA playoffs, maybe Kevin Durant could return from his Achilles injury and make his debut. Nobody makes a freaking debut in the playoffs after they've been out for a year. Nobody. It's just silly. The intensity of playoff basketball is just strictly too much. There's no way. Now, I feel like Kyrie Irving, on one hand, is trying to come out and say, hey guys, in the past, people have said I'm not the greatest teammate. In the past, people have questioned my dedication to the team. So despite having this weird shoulder injury where Kyrie Irving came out and told us, hey, I'm not really sure what's going on. I have this shoulder injury. It just randomly came up. And by the way, this sounds like another guy that we've heard about in the past, a specific number 1 overall pick named Markelle Fultz. This sounds very similar to it because this is just as strange. Literally, we're hearing this being called a strange shoulder injury where Kyrie Irving just randomly just sat out for 2 months, randomly. And at first I thought, okay, look, perhaps Kyrie Irving just wants to play with Kevin Durant, man. He just doesn't want to stress this season. When they were playing, when the Nets were playing with Kyrie, it wasn't like they were that good to begin with. So I was beginning to think, okay, he's just taking himself out for the season just so he could be fresh when KD comes back. But as time progressed forward, I started realizing, Kyrie Irving has been out with this shoulder injury for a while, and it's starting to get a little bit more emotional. You can just sense the emotion on his face. He's not really that happy about the scenario. It's not like he's smiling, saying, hey, next year we're going to be back and life's going to be good and we're going to win all these games. Don't even trip. But no, this is a very serious injury, and it's gotten to the point where there needs to be a little cause of concern because Kyrie Irving came out and said, hey, on Christmas Eve, December 24th, in hopes of avoiding surgery, I got a cortisone shot in my shoulder. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what a cortisone shot does, it pretty much mitigates the pain. It numbs the pain in a specific region of your body, and it'll allow you to play on that injury. And it's usually not done unless if it's absolutely desperate situations, okay, if you're playing in a playoff series, you get a cortisone shot, if you are playing in a NFL playoff game, or if you're playing in the Super Bowl, you're getting a cortisone shot. You try not to put your body through this because you're still playing on the injury. It might be numb for a brief period of time, but after a couple weeks to a month, that injury comes back, and it could even be worse. So I'll tell you what's concerning. Kyrie Irving, despite the Nets being on the cusp of making the playoffs and potentially making the playoffs, said, I am not going to opt for surgery this year. I'm going to get a cortisone shot. And what I'm worried about is the fact that A, the Nets are willing to do this. I don't understand why they're willing to do this, but the Nets are okay with this. And B, the fact that Kyrie Irving's okay with this. I understand that there's this need of returning to your team and leading the troops and trying to make this playoff push. But let's be honest, man. No matter what you say, there's no way, even if Kyrie Irving comes back, there's no way the Brooklyn Nets are making it through the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors, and the Philadelphia 76ers to make a deep playoff push. And even if they do, there's not going to be any hardware that's associated with that deep playoff push. There's nothing to be gained by Kyrie Irving getting this cortisone shot. And the scary thing is what if he continues to play on this cortisone shot, right? And as a result, he just further aggravates the shoulder injury. That's my concern. That's how the Brooklyn Nets could actually ruin this guy's career. And it's crazy to me because you would think, okay, Kevin Durant's out. Might as well have Kyrie Irving out. We still have our first round pick this year. Let Spencer Dinwiddie lead the troops. Maybe we could flip him in the offseason. Maybe we don't trade him. Maybe we don't trade him to some other place. But at the end of the day, the true year one of our plan, of the Brooklyn Nets plan, will come next year. And that's what I was hoping that the Brooklyn Nets would do. That's what I thought the Brooklyn Nets would do. And then they started talking about this idea of a cortisone shot for Kyrie Irving. I just think it's dangerous. I think it's scary. It's pretty much, imagine if the Philadelphia 76ers said, hey, Markelle Fultz, I typically say he forgot how to shoot, but I know he didn't forget how to shoot. He had an injury. But hey, Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot. Let's give him a cortisone shot and see if he could play on it. That's pretty much what I see, what I think the Brooklyn Nets are doing to Kyrie, only the stakes are way higher. The Sixers weren't paying Markelle Fultz a max contract. They spent a number 1 overall pick on him. They passed up the opportunity to draft Jason Tatum for him, but that's about it. That's it. That's literally the only thing they lost. But in this scenario, you have a situation where you're paying a player a max contract to make him your franchise player. You have him for his entire prime. You better use him efficiently. The way I see it, the Brooklyn Nets pretty much have this Lamborghini, and the Lamborghini popped a flat tire, and instead of trying to, replace the tire, they're just putting some tape on like whatever is causing the tire to go flat and saying, let's just keep driving this Lamborghini. It makes no sense. The Lamborghini's clearly going to be slower even if it has a flat tire. And what you're doing in addition to that is you are risking damage to the vehicle when you just do that, when you just put tape on the wheel. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really just hope the Brooklyn Nets shut down Kyrie Irving for the rest of the season. Try to maybe make a nice little playoff push. If you make it to the playoffs as an 8th seed without Kyrie, okay, maybe you could come back. And maybe it'll be good for the role players of the Brooklyn Nets to get that playoff experience. They got some last year, and it was really healthy for them. They really put in some good fighting with D'Angelo Russell leading the way. But I don't think it's worth risking further injury to Kyrie Irving. This could ruin Kyrie Irving's career. Let me know in the comment section down below. Should the Brooklyn Nets shut down Kyrie for the rest of the season, or is there something I'm not seeing? Do you think that Kyrie Irving is justified in getting a cortisone shot in order to come back? I would like to hear what you guys have to say.